Another question that some people have raised in the questions box, and also a question that I was going to ask other panelists about what the international community can do. One of the people who posed this question brought up the fact that there doesn't seem to be a lot of reaction internationally to the use of force, even when it's resulting in killings, even when they're well documented. Are there mechanisms that would be effective? Large organizations like Amnesty International, mechanisms like the UN. So that's one side of the question, which already Victor addressed to some degree, which was very helpful, that we need to be aware of what companies are responsible, what transnational companies are responsible, and how we're consuming goods that are produced in line with this kind of repression. But the other side of the question, besides what the international community can do, is what ideas might you be getting from the international community? For example, here in the US and in Canada as well, there's a movement to defund the police. And some of you may be familiar with that and may be also working to restructure or demilitarize or decrease the police budget in your countries. So I want to throw out those two questions as possibilities for you, depending on which one you would like to answer. And Faith, since we haven't heard from you in a while, would you like to take a stab at either of those? Also, another question for you, Faith, was that someone asked was what do you think could happen so that there are not more extrajudicial executions as COVID is once again causing countries to implement strict measures to shut down?
Yeah, thank you so much. Again, what international community can do. We've been doing the campaign on extrajudicial killings for a while now. And one of the things the international community can help us do is to seek for accountability. For a very long time, we've demanded for justice and that these killer cops get arrested, but nothing, very few of them have been prosecuted. Instead, we see them getting transferred from one police station to the other and still continue to do the same things they were doing. They can help us seek for accountability and demand for justice for the victims of extrajudicial killings and enforced disappearance. Another thing they can help us do is demand for implementation of National Coroner's Act that was passed in 2017, but then it has not been implemented at all. For a while, the police officers, the killer cops, do not put on uniform nor badge numbers and walk freely in the community, just anyhowly they want. We have a campaign on that to say that killer cop, any police officer without uniform and a badge number is not an officer, is a criminal. And that's a campaign we're pushing day in, day out. And we are also saying that we need to demilitarize the police, the National Police Service. It's because you see, it's in the informal settlements, we have very many police stations. But then if you go to the rich suburbs, you find that there are no police stations, or we have very few police stations and with very few police officers. So when you come to police stations in the informal settlement, you find that the police officers roam in the community with carrying their guns. You know, it's like they have militarized. Kenya is becoming a police state. Everything that we are doing, the police are now the one in command. They're the ones who are deciding how we do things, especially how human rights defenders protest and all that. Another thing that the international community can help us seek is protection of human rights defenders. For a long time, we've seen that human rights defenders get arrested, get beaten during when they go out to demand for justice and all that. but we're seeing very few. We've seen very few support from the international community demanding that the government treat human rights defenders with dignity. There was a question about what human rights defenders are planning to do.
Yeah. Are you there, Faith? I think we may have lost your sound again. Would others of you like to address the issue of what the international community can do and what you may have learned from the international community or other movements in terms? Oh, there you are. Good. Finish. Are you able to speak now, Faith? No. All right.
Yo quisiera intervenir.
Okay, Herman. Yeah. Was that you
Hello,
again?
I'm sorry for that.
Okay.
Yes, I'm sorry for that. We were bringing in organizations like Amnesty Kenya, International Justice Mission, PBI Kenya to just demand that the government treat citizens with dignity, and also not to impose a curfew through the police, not to impose the curfew through the police beating the citizens, because that can be done better. For police have been using COVID-19 as a way to, as a means of terrorizing and also extorting the citizens. When they find you without a mask, you are arrested and they demand lots of money from you. Again, we've seen them kill a man, kill people for not wearing a mask. So this is something that we are saying that the measures on COVID-19 can be imposed differently without the police terrorizing the citizens.
Right.
We also have a network of mothers and victims, a network of victims, of mothers of victims and survivors network that has been very vocal in demanding for justice of the victims of extrajudicial killings and enforced disappearance. Because as I said earlier, very few officers have been prosecuted. But again, they've started demanding that all the officers who have been found misusing their powers get arrested and prosecuted.
Okay. Great. Very, very
with all that, we will still continue to document these cases because, again, we are saying these are not just numbers. These are human beings that deserved better and deserved dignity. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.